You'd like to get into PvP in BDO, but you don't know where to start? In this video, I'm going to help you understand all the fundamentals you need to know to begin your PvP journey. In BDO there's no strict tank healer DPS trinity. Every class has its own playstyle, more or less focused on survivability, damage, crowd control, mobility, and so on. Since it would be impossible to explain every class in detail here, I highly invite you to come to my stream or join my Discord in description below, and then feel free to ask any question there. In this guide, we'll focus on general mechanics. Keep in mind that not every crowd control effects, damage modifiers, or protections exist on every class in the game, so make sure to carefully read the effect of your own skills. Now that you've chosen your class, you need to learn the fundamentals of PvP effects. Let's start with crowd control effects, commonly called CCs. These refer to every effect that restricts either your opponent or your own character. In PvP, there are different types of CCs: soft CCs and hard CCs. For each one is assigned a value. Soft CCs are worth 0.7 units. Hard CCs are worth 1 unit. You can apply a maximum of 2 CCs unit to a target. As long as you haven't reached 2 points, you can continue chaining CCs. So, as you probably understood, the goal is to keep your opponent on the ground for as long as possible. For example, you can chain 2 0.7 CCs for a total of 1.4 out of 2 units. Then add a final 1 point unit CC, which will still apply even if it pushes the total above 2 after activation. However, if you use 2 1-point unit CCs immediately, you'll already be capped at 2 out of 2 and won't be able to add any additional CC afterward. Basically, here's how the CCs types are categorized. In soft CCs 0.7 value, there is stiffness and there is knockback. In hard CCs with 1 value, there is stun, bound, and knockdown. There are other types of hard CCs specific to certain classes that allow you to deal heavy damage while the target is airborne before hitting the ground. These are called floats, and they work very similarly to bounds. When your target is in the air, float is the only CC that allow you to chain into air smash, which has a CC value of 0 units and reapplies the float effect. And then, similarly, a down smash can be applied to any target already on the ground. It reapplies a ground CC effect worth of 0 CC units point. It only has a fixed 30% chance to apply. It has no limits if your class has multiple down smash abilities. And then for some rare classes like Nova or Wizard, there's also freeze. Freeze immobilizes the target for a variable but generally long duration and counts as a 1-point unit CC. A frozen target cannot move or cast skills, but gains a V damage reduction while frozen. CC immunity lasts 5 seconds starting from the last CC applied. Since Freeze can last longer than that, it allows you to start a new CC combo afterward. Finally, we have one of the strongest mechanics in the game, the grab. Grab ignores every protection your opponent has, except iframes, which we'll discuss next. Depending on the class, a grab can apply bound, float, or knockdown. Now that you know everything about immobilizing your opponent, it's important to understand how to protect yourself from all of that. Frontal guards, super armors, and iframes. Front guards are frontal protections activated during certain skills. They block incoming damage. They consume part of your guard gauge, whose durability depends on your character damage reductions. Be careful though, some skills can pass through your character, others can hit from the side, so front guards does not protect you from CCs or damage coming from your flanks or your back. Super armors are full protections that prevent all CCs from affecting you except grabs. They partially reduce incoming damage, but do not consume your guard gauge. Iframes are the strongest protection in the game because they make you completely immune to both damage and CCs. Like front guard, blocking consumes a defensive barrier based on your damage reduction. For some classes, blocking is activated by pressing Q, commonly called a Q block, or automatically while moving backward. Certain classes like Warrior, Valkyrie, or even Seraph can use a special block that combine both front guard and super armors. Finally, as a last resort, you have an escape mechanic called V because it's bound to that key on your keyboard. It allows you to disappear from your opponent view and move in iframe state, but it has a very long cooldown. To defeat your opponents, it's important to understand the different types of damage modifiers and their values. As you probably understood from protections, killing an opponent without seizing them first can be difficult. You need to make sure that you can kill them once they're on the ground. That's where damage modifiers come into play. In PvP there is 4 damage modifiers: critical hits, down attack, back attack, and air attack. Critical hits proc on your critical chance. It deals 200% additional damage. Down attack triggers against enemies on the ground and deals 120% additional damage. Back attack triggers against standing enemies, hit from behind, and deals 120% additional damage. Air attack triggers against enemies affected by a float and deals 170% additional damage. And that's it! You know all the PvP fundamentals needed to properly start your progression in BDO. There is a huge amount of information to learn at first, but trust me, you'll improve quickly. The secret to success is repetition. Watch this video again and again and keep practicing. Arena, AOS, not Wars. Every mod is a good opportunity to improve and become a stronger player capable of defeating the best. You can also find me frequently live on Twitch. The link is in the description. You may find me be French speaking most of the time, but feel free to ask your question in English in the chat. I create all kind of PvP content: gameplay reviews, high levels players analysis, viewer reviews, and much more. So don't forget to follow so you never miss a live stream, and subscribe if you want to learn even more about BDO PvP.